So I wanted to kind of bring it more inward right now into our lives and who we are. So there's a very powerful statement by someone that says that, I want to change. And so I decided to change my mind. And I think that statement is super powerful because I think when we look at the world around us and our communities, or we just look at what's happening, we all think about how we want to make things better. It starts in the mind, and it starts with ourselves, and that's kind of what the TED Talk alluded to. So what's very interesting is that there's something called quantum cognition. And quantum cognition identifies that our minds are a quantum universe. Our realities are not as linear as we once thought or assumed. And what that means is that at any given moment in time, there are several probabilities. It's like our mind, our monkey brain, right? That automatic thought process, that's called the monkey brain. It's gambling. It's gambling with opposing thoughts, ideas, preconditioning in our subconscious mind, right? To then produce thoughts and emotions, feelings. And then from those thoughts and emotions and feelings, we are intersecting with our worlds to create our realities, however they are, however they may be. And quantum theory has a very fascinating principle that says the very minute that you begin to observe something, you change the quality of the particle. So it's something called the observation effect. The very second you step outside of something, outside of a thought, outside of an emotion, outside of your body, outside of an experience, and begin to observe it, not with your monkey brain, but something deeper, you begin to change the quality of what you are observing. And that's quantum physics. This is science, this is neuroscience, and this is quantum physics, and it's an amazing concept because it's true. Mindfulness really engages into this theory, right? Because what mindfulness does is it says that observation effect is really important. Because in mindfulness, the goal is to become the observer. That's the goal. And to become the observer of your experience, the observer of your thought, the observer of your emotions, lends itself to you engaging more into your luminous mind, into the transcendence and the awareness, which is beyond body and thought and emotion, and less engaged into the monkey brain and the automatic thought process. And that's where that choice happens. So the more that you can exist in this luminous mind, right? So what is the luminous mind? It's the backdrop. It's the backdrop beyond emotion, beyond thought, beyond experience, beyond the situation that's happening in front of you. It's the observer. It's stepping outside. The minute you step outside, you change the experience of what's happening, you change the reality of what's happening. The longer you live in that space, the longer you are able to stay in that space of the luminant, the mind, the luminescence, the awareness, the more you are able to cultivate all the important things that you want to cultivate. Compassion, serenity, kindness. All of those things can develop. They can only develop the more you silence the inside, right? Because the more quiet you are, the less the monkey brain is speaking, the less ego consciousness we have, the more space we create. When we create more space, what happens in that moment? When you create more space, you are more open to somebody else's perspective. You are more open to another idea. You are more open to someone else's experience. Your compassion and empathy increase. And the richness of your experience in that moment in time quantifies to larger and larger amounts as you begin to live more and more in that awareness, in that quantum space of the luminescent mind, which is a backdrop beyond thought, beyond emotion, and beyond body. But you must step out of it in order to experience it. If you stay within it, you can never ever change your relationship to that reality. So when you are immersed in your emotion of anger, when you are immersed in your anxious thought, when you are immersed in the experience of the moment that life has given you, whatever it may be, sadness, conflict, whatever it may be, when you are immersed in it, you can't disengage. The ability to disengage, that moment right there is mindfulness. It's choosing. It's saying, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to, as the video says, stop. I'm just going to stop for a second. I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to step outside. And then when you step outside, you change the perspective. And when you change the perspective, you actually begin to ask yourself, wait a minute, what belongs to me? What am I taking from this experience? What do I want to be taken into experience? And that's what some of this, the art here, the Julian Clark, the exhibition that she has upstairs with all her chalk installations. It's very fascinating because that's what it speaks to. It speaks to the concept of memories encoded in time and over time in our lives. All of those chalk drawings that you see are a moment of memory, where the memory incorporates our feelings, our thoughts, our ideas, our biases, our emotions. And we have an experience, and in that moment of experience, our brain either holds on to something or lets go of things. And it's amazing that when we talk about memory, what some people remember about an event in their lives or a moment in time, and what falls away. And that's where that moment of change can happen. Because we have a choice to decide, what do we want to stick? What ideas, thoughts, emotions, experiences we want to stick in our reality, that we want to stay in our reality, that we want to encode in our experience, and what 5 years from now we want to fall away. And all the things, we talk about humanity, the things that want to fall away are the hatred and the disharmony and the anger and the bitterness and the unforgiveness and the pain. Those are all things that we want to fall away. And what do we want to remember 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 50 years down the road? We want to remember love and compassion and forgiveness and the beauty and richness of every experience and moment in our lives. But who's choosing that? We are. We're choosing that. So in that very moment, you can decide to be mindful or not. That's our power. And that's a power that art and all these other beautiful things in our lives gives us. Art is an interpretation, in a moment of time in someone's mind, an interpretation of reality that engages so many various dimensions. Ideas and feelings and thoughts and interpretations through the lens of a particular mind and brain. Art is mindfulness. That's what art is. Art is the expression of mindfulness. And through art and through many other domains, music, all of these other things, beautiful things that we enjoy, they are an expression of being mindful. Because these experiences center into the moment of what's happening right there for us. And that's what we have to engage in. So when we're talking about change, this is where we have that opportunity for changing them within ourselves. It's when that automatic thought process is happening and that monkey brain is going off. What do you have in that moment? You have a gambling, right? The monkey brain is gambling. It's giving you all these thoughts and all these emotions. You don't have power over that because it's all subconscious and coding. But you do have power over what you choose in that moment. You have the power to step outside and become the observer. And when you become the observer, you change the reality with which you are engaging with and intersecting with. You change the relationship. So that's something that we can go into ourselves and recognize. That's something that's very important in things like meditation, when we talk about meditation. Because meditation helps us to cultivate all the things that we need to live a more present, mindful life. To be in the richness of the moment and the experience, and to step away from that monkey brain, to step away from the judgment, the automatic thought processes, the unconscious mind that is probably filled with pain and experiences and hurt and all the things that are negative. But we have that power to choose. So that's what's very important about today, is just centering into the moment and understanding fundamentally what mindfulness is, whether it's relative to ourselves or how we experience the world with people that we love and our communities and just our lives. and just having a very fundamental understanding of that. Because the more we change our inner reality, the more we create space in ourselves to actually experience love and compassion and empathy, the more those inner realities all collide, right? And when you have everybody's inner reality colliding and expanding, what happens? You create more love, more compassion, more people engaging in kindness and awareness. And you're able to create the inner self that you want and the outer world that you want, because it's all connected.
Thank you.